One of the biggest differences between selling real estate like residential, an asset most people are familiar with, and selling industrial real estate is many times there is a business associated with the real estate being sold. And with every business, there are employees and livelihoods and relationships involved that the seller may not want to put at risk until the property is officially going to close. Regardless of what you may be hearing, there are still billions and billions of dollars looking to buy industrial real estate, regardless of what condition it's in. Despite what you may be reading in the news about interest rates continuing to climb or demand from investors in industrial real estate potentially cooling, that is just not the case. If you own any asset class of industrial real estate, it is still extremely valuable and highly sought after by large institutional investors across the country. Regardless of what type of industrial real estate you own, there is a buyer for that profile of deal. And the fact is, there is literally next to nothing on the market for sale right now. Inventory is close to zero, especially for quality buildings. If you chose to sell your industrial property today, the market is very quiet, so you will get a lot of eyeballs and a lot of attention. If you own industrial real estate, there is a huge opportunity for you right now to take advantage of, specifically because of the lack of inventory and the amount of investors aggressively looking to invest their billions of dollars. That same billions of dollars, they are actually mandated to deploy and get out the door on an annual basis. We're going to break down our systematic, meticulous process of how we list and market industrial properties for sale, exactly how we analyze a deal we are selling, and how we target investor buyers for each property type and profile. And because we know which buyers prioritize which type of deal, we are able to maximize the sale price of the industrial properties we market and we sell. The number one mistake sellers make when they list their industrial property is they actually don't list their property for sale. Every year, a staggering amount of industrial real estate trades and sells off market, meaning it's not broadly marketed, there isn't a process, and a lot of that is driven by sellers, and it is a mistake. We always say there are three pillars to selling industrial real estate: details, exposure, and competition. By limiting the number of prospective buyers that the property is exposed to, it is impossible to create maximum attention, maximum urgency, and maximum competition for the property. Without those things, you will never truly know what your property is worth. Details are the cornerstone to effectively selling an industrial property. A huge mistake when industrial properties are marketed for sale is there isn't a comprehensive marketing package created. In the past 10 years, the most sophisticated investors have become the most qualified buyers that end up paying the highest purchase prices for these industrial properties. But these sophisticated buyers are more concerned with what may go wrong after they close versus what will go right. These investors are a group of people who sit in a big room, go through a very, very long checklist before they buy, and the lens that they're looking through is avoiding a mistake, which usually involves missing something. That's why the number one priority of the marketing package we assemble for a property we are selling has to be answering as many questions on that checklist as possible in the beginning of the marketing process. The sooner we answer those questions, the sooner we can change the buyer's mindset from what do we not know about this property to when can we close. So anything and everything pertaining to the property specifications, zoning, approved uses, historical capital improvements and repairs, previous bills paid, we aggregate and package this in a comprehensive marketing overview, because the more questions about the property you proactively answer, the more likely the buyers will use that information to make an even higher, more aggressive initial purchase offer, because they aren't leaving meat on the bone on the offering price, assuming that there are negative things they will discover about the building in their due diligence that will cost them money to fix, money to repair, or money to replace. The most underrated way a seller can increase the probability they get their price is actually do their own due diligence. There is a very, very specific list of reports, studies, and surveys a buyer needs for industrial real estate, but most sellers have the order of operations completely backwards. Typically, a seller opens escrow, then has the buyer order and pay for the reports. Then, 99.9% of the escrow period, the seller is actually waiting for the buyer to get the reports back. These reports and studies could be $10, $20, maybe $30,000. And while that is a lot of money, these properties are trading and valued for millions and millions, sometimes tens of millions of dollars. The seller should know the answer to these questions before the buyer does. What's the condition of the roof? What's the measurement of the property? What uses does the zoning allow? These questions are going to get asked anyway by the buyer. Most of the sellers that I know need control and hate surprises. This is the easiest way to get the first and avoid the second. And while the process might sound overwhelming, our company has a very long list of trusted vendors we've worked with numerous times in the past and can facilitate all of these reports and studies for a seller. And the best part is, if for some rare odd reason, the buyer that opens escrow on the acquisition doesn't close, the seller actually owns and controls the reports and studies and can use them on the next escrow if they choose to. Our biggest responsibility to our clients who entrust us to list and market their properties for sale is to maximize the exposure of that listing. And one of the biggest misconceptions about marketing industrial real estate is that there are only a few channels that need to be utilized: email, multiple listing services, phone calls. And that is just not the case anymore for a few reasons. One, the new spam filters on email programs have become extremely stringent. So there is no way to guarantee exposure through a blast email campaign. Two, there is really only one commercial multiple listing service. There isn't the MLS and the Redfin and the Realtor.com and Zillow and numerous other free apps buyers and sellers can check for free while they're lying in bed in their pajamas. In reality, most of the sale comp and sale inventory data and information is held in a secret black box that's controlled by CoStar. They've built a monopoly. They've also priced access to their database to the point where most won't pay thousands of dollars it costs to access it. So to maximize exposure of a property, you need to market and promote it on platforms where the most amount of people are consuming content for free. The way influential people consume content is changing on a daily basis. And as a result, having a large presence and brand on as many of these media outlets and channels as possible is not only crucial, it's the present and the future. And it's how you maximize the number of eyeballs on a listing at one time. Our company invests a substantial amount of money in video production, social media content, custom website, branding, and investment in building our audience and following on a daily basis. So when we do release a new listing, the amount of people it reaches is endless. Furthermore, people don't want to consume static content anymore. They want video. And furthermore, they want someone pulling them into the video, explaining to them why they should waste their time, watch this video, why they should invest so much of their time considering this property. And that's why we invest so much in the video content we create. The purpose of an exclusive listing is to run a regimented, detailed process. Our company says this constantly: details, exposure, competition. If you shorten the timeline or you don't run a process, those steps are going to suffer. You have to allocate time to assemble all the details on the property because that's how you tell the story of why your property deserves your price. You have to allocate time to maximize exposure because without the most amount of eyeballs on your property at one time, it is impossible to create the urgency needed, to create the level of competition needed to drive the price up. And to truly create the maximum level of competition, you have to create an auction-like process where all the offers are due on a certain date. Most buyers want what they can't have, and the same goes for investors looking to acquire industrial real estate. Our company creates a process where all property marketing material is released on the same day. All interested buyers are required to submit their offer in writing on the same date and follow a detailed, uniform offer letter template so all purchase offers and terms can be analyzed in a consistent side-by-side comparison. A detailed analysis is created for the seller, breaking down each buyer's purchase price, deal terms, escrow length, closing period length, proof of funds, loan contingency if they have any, what type of additional reports and studies the buyers may require, in addition to what other properties they own in the area. After analyzing that first round of offers with the seller, we create a list of buyers that qualify for the next round, which include a uniform counteroffer from the seller, drafted and submitted by our company, detailing the exact terms the seller requires to sell their property. The process can go on for multiple rounds, but the ultimate goal is once we get to the best and final round with the final buyer chosen, all deal terms dictated by the seller that will be in the contract have been negotiated and agreed upon. So there are no surprises during the escrow. The timeline has been set. The due diligence items and reports have been pre-submitted by the seller. The escrow and closing period have been set. So the only thing the seller has to do is wait for the buyer to waive contingencies and close on the purchase. From the day the escrow is opened, our company takes the lead on coordinating what is needed from the buyer, including creating and setting up a virtual room in a Google Drive with all due diligence documents and materials, coordinating tours, inspections, and studies. But one of the biggest questions we get asked by our prospective clients is, what if I don't have an attorney? What if I need a different CPA or accountant to advise me? Or what if I don't know what the 1031 exchange process entails and I need help? Not only are we a resource to our clients to broker these transactions and ensure they achieve the highest sale price possible, but we take pride in our connections and relationships with other resources our clients may need during the process. That could range from attorneys, accountants, to 1031 exchange accommodators, to therapists to navigate family issues during the sale when they arise. Bottom line, not only are we here as an advocate for our clients to broker the sale of the real estate, but we have the ability to help the seller assemble a team of trusted advisors in addition to our team to streamline the entire process from start to close and after the close of the transaction. Before you list your industrial real estate for sale, you really need to start with your why. And to answer that first question, you really should answer the what question. What are you going to do after you sell? In our opinion, a good listing broker should reverse engineer the ideal circumstances of where you want to be after the deal closes. Here's a great example. Let's say you're an owner-user of an industrial facility. You've built your business and run it for 15 years. You've occupied your facility that you're selling for 10 years. You want to sell the real estate, but you don't want to close the business. You don't want to incur capital gains taxes, so you want a 1031 exchange. All of these wants and needs are achievable, but we need to dictate those terms to the buyers to ensure those needs are achieved and met. To allow the business to remain in the facility, we can negotiate a sale-leaseback. To give you breathing room while you locate your 1031 exchange, we can negotiate a delayed closing date. But to achieve all this, the best strategy is to incorporate them into the marketing as part of the deal and necessary deal terms. So as offers come in, the price that is offered has already taken into account your unique deal terms and exactly what you need. One of the biggest differences between selling real estate like residential, an asset most people are familiar with, and selling industrial real estate is many times there is a business associated with the real estate being sold. And with every business, there are employees and livelihoods and relationships involved that the seller may not want to put at risk until the property is officially going to close. And we get it, because our team has such a comprehensive list of institutional investors targeting the acquisition of industrial properties. We have the ability to market the property under a confidential listing and directly market it to these targeted investor buyers without a listing sign in front of the property, without placing the property in the multiples, without posting the property on social media. We still put the same amount of digital marketing investment and dollars behind the collateral and videos created for the listing, but electronically, We're able to market it directly to these investors using our proprietary database we've built over the last 12 plus years. And because we make all of the prospective buyers sign non-disclosure agreements prior to giving them marketing material, you can trust that the information is safe. Our company is extremely passionate about our systematic approach to listing, marketing, and selling industrial real estate. If you are interested or curious what your industrial property may sell for in today's market, please contact us for an expert opinion of value. Thank you for joining us on this behind-the-scenes video of exactly how we maximize value for all of our clients that entrusted their property with our company.